Longtime tradition here in Philadelphia. Lauren Hart with the singing of the national anthem. She is the daughter of the longtime radio voice of the Philadelphia Flyers, Gene Hart. How about tonight's Keys to the Game is brought to you by your helpful SoCal Honda dealers. With those, we go to Lisa Hillary.
Thanks very much, John. Bob Woods here. What is the key to slowing down a Flyers team that has recently, Bob, found their offense?
Well, they're a team that's going to come at you hard. They're going to get the pucks deep, and the first 10 minutes is going to be tough. We just got to move pucks quick and get it going the other direction.
Thanks for the time. Good luck.
Set to go in Philadelphia, a place the Ducks haven't spent a lot of time. Just their fourth visit here in 11 years since 2002. The referees for tonight's game are Jean Hebert and Wes McCauley. The linesmen are Derek Amell and Scott Cherney.
It's interesting, John. Right out of the gate, Bruce Boudreau has to designate which line he starts. So he gets Getzlaf over the boards. They will counter with Sean Couturier. They're talking a lot about Couturier in that shutdown role for the Flyers. And he has done a real nice job for Philadelphia. Now that his role, I think, has been defined primarily as that shutdown center.
He's been their best centerman on faceoffs, and he wins the draw to begin the game. And here come the Flyers, clad in orange, into the Anaheim zone. Ducks in their road whites, and Patrick Maroon, one-time property of this Philadelphia organization, picks up the loose puck as he's out with Perry and Getzlaf. He tips it across the line to Perry, who finds Getzlaf. Little hot to handle. He chases it down on the far boards. It's Maroon down low. He'll step in front and fire right on. Mason makes the save on the game's first shot on goal. Patrick Maroon telling me this morning that this was a big game for him. The Flyers trading him to the Ducks a couple of years ago in a deal that primarily just involved minor league players at the time, but now Maroon has become an NHL regular.
Yeah, and he's done a nice job with Anaheim this year and seems to have terrific chemistry with Getzlaf and Perry.
That deal was made back in November of 2011. Loose puck swatted the length of the ice as Perreault gets to it, and icing will be the call. The first whistle comes just over a minute into the hockey game.
And Matthew Perreault on the ice, and interesting is LeCavalier gets his puck and just tries to throw it into the crease. And watch the stick position here of Jonas Hiller. Does a good job. It's a goaltender's responsibility not to allow anything through that blue paint, and Hiller does his job.
Giroux wins the draw in the ring to the right of Hiller. Tries to step out in front. Hiller last played on Thursday night in Montreal in the 4-1 loss to the Canadiens. Solani tries to tip it out of the zone with Edom, and Perreault with speed trails the play into the Philadelphia zone. His shot deflected into the netting above the high glass by Kimmo Timonen.
A good sign that Matthew Perreault in his first shift back takes a shot from long range and didn't look like it was bothering him at all. And he's saying, hey, that puck was deflected off a defenseman. Why is the face-off outside in the neutral zone?
Well, the Zebras confer, and then they still take it outside the line. And Perreault is perplexed, to say the least.
I think he made his point.
Yeah, I think Timonen got a stick on it for sure, but nonetheless, the puck is dropped. And now Mark Streit, the former New York Islander, handles it at his own blue line. A little bit of a misfire there from Luke Schenn, the big defenseman, trying to move the puck ahead. The Flyers recover, and here they come. His younger brother Braden into the Anaheim zone to the corner. In comes Hartnell to try to dig it free. Bonino got a stick on it. Voracek on a spin move trying to get it back to the goal, but it was deflected away. Now it's Hartnell trying to get it from the near boards, only to have that blocked. Voracek will chase as Cogliano tries to lob it over him. He gloves it down. Pass across for Braden Schenn. Measures, then takes the shot, only to have it blocked as Vatanen got in the shooting lane. Brian Allen gets to it and throws it off a Flyers skate to center. Luke Schenn pressured by Cogliano. Ducks changing, and quickly Hartnell right back in. Kick save by Hiller. Vatanen reverses it around. Francois Beauchemin gets it to the far boards. Winnick put it into the middle, but it was behind Peter Holland.
Yeah, twice the Ducks have misfired that little 10-foot pass into their center down low.
Now it's Winnick leading it ahead, and Holland, boy, just missed the Flyer as he came off the bench. Looked like he was in the train tracks there, but he just made a deft little move. Lovejoy holds it into the near side as Smith-Pelly wins the battle with Timonen. Winnick tries to walk right out in front, had his stick lifted at the moment of truth.
Second time, John, that the Ducks have had space and time to walk a puck out of the corner.
Below the hash mark.
Yeah, and just try and jam it into the crease. The Flyers' defense looked hesitant in those situations.
Grossman threw it into the Anaheim zone. It's fired back, but Perry has position, so no icing. And then Grossman runs him into the corner boards. Over to answer with a shoulder on Braden Coburn was Getzlaf, but it's the Flyers the other way. Wayne Simmons. Long shot off the wing from the former Los Angeles King. Missed everything. Grossman works it down low. Simmons unable to get it back.
Simmons got away with a hook right there on Lindholm.
Couturier circles the goal, fires wide on the short side. It'll come up the near boards. Grossman keeps it deep. Simmons drops it back. Matt Reed's got a lot of room, and he scores.
Well, the Flyers' aggressiveness pays off in the opening goal of the game. I thought Wayne Simmons got away with a hook to keep the cycle play alive, but look at Jonas Hiller. He looks the wrong way. It's a backdoor pass, and Reed gets a couple of cracks at it. Francois Beauchemin cannot get to him in time. The Ducks' defense give Reed too much time and space, and he makes him pay.
Third straight game on the score sheet for Matt Reed. Second straight game potting a goal. And the Flyers, who have been offensively challenged, to say the least, in the early going this season, have a 1-0 lead. Matt Reed is one of many members of this Flyers roster that they have sewn up with long-term contracts recently. He just signed a 4-year deal in the offseason, only in his third season. He had over 20 goals a couple of years ago as the Flyers go offside at the other end. Simmons and Grossman draw the assists at 3:40.
Bruce Boudreau knows that one of the reasons why his club sits at 9-3 is that they've got off to such great starts in the opening periods of games this season. Only the San Jose Sharks have scored more first-period goals than the Ducks have, but he won't be pleased with the way the opening of this game has unfolded, John, because that was a missed assignment down low. And boy, you know, there's not as much room behind the nets as there used to be. And that's a tough play for a goaltender anytime a guy tries the backdoor pass. But it sure burned Jonas Hiller on that last bid.
Pretty important to get on top of these Flyers. I know it's early in the season, but they're 0-5 when they give up the first goal, and they have not won when they've trailed after one this season either. So a fast start could have really put the Flyers in a bad spot, but it's Philadelphia that leads 1-0. Michael Rattle misfires, as he's a rather unexpected member of the top line here in Philadelphia, as the Ducks are forced to ice the puck away. LeCavalier and Giroux on the top line with a young Austrian named Rattle.
A couple of turnovers for the Ducks, and Craig Berube's team has turned them into good scoring chances. Berube, pretty hard-nosed player. The stat I love about Craig Berube, he spent over 3,100 minutes in the penalty box during his playing career. John, that's over 50 games of sitting in the penalty box in his career. That's a lot of time in the box.
7th most penalized player in NHL history. Those are not the guys you think of to become coaches, do you? I mean, it's a pretty short list of big-time enforcers and penalty minute guys who have gone on to become head coaches in the National Hockey League. Berube, of course, taking over for Peter Laviolette after just 3 games this season. They've been an assistant here in Philly for 7 years.
John, there's that misfire on that short pass into the middle again, so the execution level is not there for the Ducks here in the early going. I mean, the pass is there, it's available, they've just misfired on those passes, and it's led to all kinds of problems.
Luke Schenn back to get it in the Philadelphia zone. His younger brother, Braden, just turned 22. Luke will turn 24 in 4 days. Here's Braden into the Anaheim zone. Peels off. Gave it to Reed. Fancy stick handling down low as knifed off his stick. And Perry can only get it as far as center ice. Hiller stops it behind the net. Pressure on Lindholm, who moves it up the left side. And Maroon broke his stick receiving that pass. Campus got to put a little less on those passes. He's breaking sticks. That's going to cost the organization money. Now it's Beauchemin, watched from the other side of the net by Wayne Simmons. Let's go Flyers chant. Getting started here at Wells Fargo Center as Getzlaf brings it to center ice. Being hooked from behind by Simmons. Hazy doesn't get away with this one.
You know, he
penalty coming up to the Flyers.
He should have had a call called against him earlier in the game, and actually the Flyers scored in the same sequence. But this is the tendency that Wayne Simmons has, to reach and get into the hands of players It's a habit he's going to have to break.
He's had over 100 penalty minutes twice already in his young career. Ducks have the extra man on. Bushma puts it on net. Big high rebound bouncing to the far side of the goal. Finally touched up by the Flyers. And Anaheim will have a power play when we come back to Philadelphia. Matt Reed with an early goal, and it's the Flyers on top. Wow, these fans, they love me. Okay, they love the Ducks.
Well, they're going to love this bad penalty taken by Wayne Simmons, an obvious hooking call made by him in the neutral zone, long way from your own net when you get into the hands of an attacking player. Not a good one for Simmons to take. So a chance here for the much maligned Duck power play to get things going, John.
Well, they did get a power play goal in the third period in Columbus on their way to that 4-3 win on Sunday. Perreault comes right out, takes the draw. He's with Solani and Edom. It was Emerson Edom that got that goal, but the puck cleared right away by this strong Philadelphia penalty killing unit. They're top 10 in the league coming into tonight's action at over 83%.
They're just outworking the Ducks.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, Brian. You could just see it right there as they were able to clear the zone. Max Talbot just feverishly working to win that puck in the neutral zone, and as a result, 25 seconds gone to the man advantage, and Anaheim not even in the Philadelphia zone. Solani splits a pair of defenders as he lifts it in on the backhand. Schenn rims it around. Waiting at the point is Palmieri, who hammers it down low. It'll come all the way around. A lot of time and space to clear this time, however, for Timonen, and he does. Hiller forced to stop it behind the net. Just over a minute to go in the man advantage as now the number one power play unit comes over the boards for the Ducks. Sammy Vatanen gives it to Getzlaf. Hard around and in. Mason will stay put. Everybody meets in the corner and tries to dig it free. Bonino is there. So is Perry. So is Maroon. Up the wall, Vatanen lays the glove to the ice to hold it in across to Getzlaf. Makes a move on Reed, who knocks it loose. Perry swats it. Reed didn't get all of it. Vatanen holds it in. Quick puck movement. Bonino's the open man. Wires one through the screen of Maroon, and a save by Mason.
Yeah, did not see it. Bonino went right to the top of the goal crease, and Mason, big guy, is going to take away the lower part of the net and play the percentages. And the Ducks couldn't get the elevated shot through.
Perry sends it behind the net. Mason is there and plays it along himself. Getzlaf gets a piece of it. Vatanen to the line, will hold it in. Pitches it down low. Perry does a nice job. Chips it in front for Maroon. Missed on the short side. Gets it back. Bonino on the half wall. Final 10 seconds of the power play. Vatanen's shot blocked. Bonino gets it back. Walks into the slot and fired it wide.
I think that may have been blocked by Luke Schenn, John. I think he may have got a little piece of the bid by Nick Bonino. Bonino showed great patience, got it into a great scoring area, but the Flyers penalty kill comes through with a big kill.
Offside is the call as Philadelphia now full strength brings the puck back into the Anaheim zone. Just one shot on goal officially during the Anaheim power play.
Nick Bonino a little bit upset that he was not able to get that puck through on the second bid. Here was the first slap shot that was blocked. And then right on the doorstep, Patrick Maroon takes a little swipe that just goes wide. But this loose puck comes to Bonino. Great patience. I'm pretty sure that young defenseman Schenn gets a piece of that one and deflects it wide.
Don't you mean big Luke Schenn?
He is a large human.
We were admiring his size this morning at the morning skate. He's hard to miss.
He fills up a lot of space. He's not the most fleet of foot defender in the game, and he did well to get a little piece of that bid. Tough scoring area. Goaltenders love when their defensemen actually do get a piece of the puck on the attempted blocks.
It was interesting. You talked about his foot speed as Cogliano, right on the doorstep, turned away by Mason. One of the things they talked about was Schenn is trying to improve his speed, and it seems to be a theme around this entire Philadelphia club here in the early going this year, as Hiller holds on to a one-timer from Hartnell and gets the whistle. What I wanted to ask you, Brian, real quick is, can you do that during the season? Can you improve your foot speed as a team or as an individual, or is that something you got to do in the offseason?
Well, I think Patrick Maroon has improved his foot speed. I think he's a quicker player this year. I think it takes an awful lot of hard work, and I think that there is a genetic component to it. Boy, that was a nice stop by Jonas Hiller. And that puck just kind of sticks to his leg pad there. It was Hartnell's shot. Andrew Cogliano thinking top of the net. And you could see that Mason got a little piece of that puck with the shoulder.
You were talking about Mason's size. That was a real good look on that replay. that you've got to pick one of the corners on him. I mean, even goes down on his knees, Brian. There's not much to look at. Part of it was the sharp angle Cogliano had on it, but he still takes up a lot of net.
Well, he's another one of the taller goaltenders that is, in my mind, circumventing the rules by yanking those goal pads way up high, because those pads that aren't supposed to be at your hips are at his hips when you look at them.
Your union dues must be sky high.
There's 5 or 6 guys. I know that they are going to clamp down on that with goaltenders in the game. That area of padding in above the kneecap is supposed to be reduced by 2 to 3 inches on average this year. In most cases it has been, but certain goaltenders are just pulling their pads up much higher.
Nick Bonino a moment ago, without the aid of those big goal pads, made a nice kick save and a beauty. Bonino, of course, was amongst the league leaders in forwards and block shots a season ago. He really found a role for Anaheim as the season moved forward that way. So he's up to his old tricks as Brian Allen goes to the corner after a loose puck. Lovejoy shovels it along. Maroon drops it back. Allen to Lovejoy, who scales it up the glass and out. And now Vatanen comes on for Lovejoy.
You know, we've seen a real concerted effort by Ben Lovejoy to cut down on turnovers, and he's making simple plays and making his decisions a little bit quicker, John. When he gets the puck on his stick, he's using the glass really effectively in the defensive zone to make sure that he does not turn it over.
Maroon just missed Perry behind the net, and now the Flyers the other way as Coburn joins the rush. Simmons off the wing, misses, hit the referee's skate as it came off the boards. Otherwise, it would have come right to Getzlaf. That enabled Coburn to recover the puck. Simmons pass off a stick and now chopped high in the zone. Perry's at the end of a shift. He'll get center red and does a nice job to diagonally dump it in as Simmons gave him a shot, and the two of them exchange how-do-you-dos on their way back to their respective benches.
One thing that you get from Wayne Simmons every game is effort. That's for sure. And he's been very noticeable. Took that one bad penalty, but he's been a factor on the forecheck in this game for sure.
It's been a tough start to the season. Simmons -7 entering tonight. He's not alone, as has been the case with many of the Flyers. A difficult start to the year. Everyone seems to be offensively challenged. No one on an individual basis has more than 6 points on this team. This is their 11th game of the year. The goal scorer is Reed, tries to hook it back in front. Excuse me, that was Giroux. And Lindholm stayed with LeCavalier. Hampus back and forth on the end board, but LeCavalier comes away with it. The all-time leading scorer for the Tampa Bay Lightning gets it back to the line. Mazzaros with a drive off of Hiller. It trickled just wide. Rattle works the left wing half wall. Now back to Giroux in the corner. At the line straight. Again across and rattling the high glass with a one-timer. Was Mazzaros right back to the front of the net, and Rattle turned away. Ducks need a change as they scale it up the glass and out. Solani on his own with everybody going to the bench. He'll work as much time as he can and then spin it deep.
Well, that cycle play for the Flyers' big line has been very effective in this game. And Philadelphia is out hitting the Ducks. They've got a little bit more jump in their stride here in the early going, John. And territorially, they've dominated.
Here's Hartnell, sharp angle shot, and Hiller hugs the post. The rebound to Bonino, who moves it quickly. Cogliano across to Winnick, and on the back check, Voracek got enough of him. Timonen, headmans for Scott Hartnell. He missed 4 games already this year with an upper body injury. Part of the reason he's off to such a slow start. Timonen as well without a point, and he can't lift it past Winnick. Winnick waits for reinforcement. And then the return pass from Bonino is behind him. Up the wall, Winnick able to win it around. Time and space though for Luke Schenn. His pass through the middle of the ice broken up. Transition for the Ducks as the Flyers were trying to change. Here's Cogliano, drop pass to Bonino, right back to Cogliano. Tried to put it in front, and that's swept away. Mason wouldn't leave the post. Fowler. Shot tipped by Winnick, looking for the loose change. Mason couldn't cover. Put it right back into the goal crease. Players strewn all over. Nobody can get the handle. Fowler finds Bonino. Fires on the sharp angle, and again, Mason able to make the stop.
Mason's been good. The Ducks have been trying to pick that top corner over the blocker side, and he's taken it away. Best push for the Ducks so far in this game was this shift in the early going.
Nice outlet from Fowler, who was under duress. He finds Paul Mary off the bench. Mason stops behind the goal. 5:25 to play in a rapidly moving opening period. 1-0 Flyers. Max Talbot into the Anaheim zone. Over to the right wing, being chased by Beauchemin. Puts it right into the crease off the stick of Hiller. It bounces way out, and another good save on Reed on the long rebound. Reed nearly had his second, but flashing the glove was Hiller. Now a foot race back into the Philadelphia zone as Palmieri put pressure on Strike. Mazzaro's forced to the backhand. Can't get it through Getzlaf. He's hooked from behind and can't come up with the puck. Back come the Flyers to center. Simmons forgot something. Getzlaf swats it away from him, brings it in. Tries to pull it to the middle and then can't pull his way through Braden Coburn. To the line. Allen holds it in. Hard pass. Back off the stick of Maroon right on the goal mount. Perry chopping away at it. We get a whistle. And we got a penalty coming up for slashing. And uncertain as to who this is on. I think this may go against the Ducks. We'll clear it all up when we come back to Philadelphia.
No 1-0 game, but we've seen a ton of chances in the last couple of shifts for both teams. Starts with his point shot. And boy, Jonas Hiller does a great job of finding that puck through the screen. You can see right on the doorstep, that was Raffle. And then the Ducks with a couple bids of their own. They got to some rebounds. They got a couple of little redirects. The best stop by Jonas Hiller of that period was that bid by Reed. And then that was the penalty on Ryan Getzlaf. And I did not see much of a slash by Getzlaf, but the Anaheim captain will sit in the Flyers of a power play champ.
Well, the Flyers have a struggling power play unit of their own, just 10% on the season. And that has them all of 27th in the league on the power play. The Duck penalty kill has been much better of late, trying to overcome that slow early season start. They were 1-for-1 in the win on Sunday at Columbus. It's speed for Claude Giroux as he swings it around. And Voracek, who led the team in power play goals a year ago, returns it. Voracek had 8 power play goals in that truncated, lockout-shortened season a year ago. But now that they got Vinny Lecavalier, they've got even more weapons on this power play. Giroux works it around. Lecavalier with a one-timer and a good save by Hiller going from his right to his left.
Yeah, and a good clear. And Brian Allen looks back at the referee and he said, you know, he's holding my stick. Strength of Allen, still able to get the clear he was looking for.
Allen pinning Voracek, but the loose puck picked up by Giroux. 5 assists in his last 5 games. Giroux still seeking his first goal of the year. Voracek works it across the top, now wants to trade places off the half wall. This is Giroux. Right down on the doorstep for Simmons, who returns the favor. Giroux, great cross-ice pass, and it's in the net just like that. Vinny Lecavalier, 2-0 Philadelphia.
That's a pretty looking play. Claude Giroux threads the needle to Lecavalier and not much chance for Jonas Hiller. Watch Giroux, he gets the head up, not a lot of pressure on him, but he throws it right through Beauchemin and Cogliano. He's looking one way, sending out all kinds of misinformation, and he fires a strike to Lecavalier, and that was a very effective-looking power play for the Flyers.
Giroux and Simmons will draw the assists at 16:34, and it's 2-0 for the Flyers. That is just their 5th power play goal of the year. And Lecavalier now has 4 goals in his last 2 games, and the Flyers have a 2-0 cushion. Schenn plays it back up the boards, but loses the handle. Solani didn't clear, and a long one-timer from Timonen is steered aside by Hiller. Behind the net, Max Talbot has it for the Flyers, and his pass to the point is well off the mark. This will go the length of the ice, and Mason back to get it. Flyers with a 14-8 shot advantage as Mason got tangled up in Solani behind the net. Throws it on the backhand of the net, and Mason lost his stick. Anaheim would be doing well to keep the pressure on here. Beauchemin throws it to the net. Score! No goal, tipped in by a high stick.
Oh, my. That's going to be reviewed, John. This is close. I mean, they'll take a look at this.
Matthew Perreault and the rest of the Ducks were already celebrating, nobody thinking that there was anything to it, and then they heard the whistle.
Well, let's see if we can pick it up. Matthew Perreault goes to the front of the net. Now,
it hit him in the helmet, didn't it?
No, it hits the stick of Perreault. But remember, it's not where the stick blade is located. It's the point of contact with the stick of Matthew Perreault. And that goes off the shaft of the stick, not off the blade. The determining factor is the crossbar. If the puck is 4 feet or lower at the point of contact,
You
It's
can
a
see
good
he's
goal.
moving his stick
It's
down.
close.
This is going to, I think this
It's
this
close.
could be a goal.
You know, the perspective that will matter the most would be a kind of a low-angle camera shot. I don't know if we have that or not, but that would provide a better perspective on whether or not that puck was knocked in below the height of the crossbar. It's close. And that angle right there, again, his stick blade is much higher than the crossbar, but this puck goes off the shaft of his stick. That one, to me, looks like it's above the height of the crossbar.
Yeah, it's very close. And remember, the call on the ice is no goal.
I think that is the definitive look. That last look right there.
Well, they'll look at it in the Situation Room in Toronto.
Let's look at this one more time. Call on the ice. And to me, that one appears to be slightly above the height of the crossbar. I'll guarantee you this much. The goaltender, Steve Mason, thought it was a good goal. I mean, judging by his reaction, he thought it was going to count. So that's the one that they're going to use to make the determination. The video
This is
room
Wes
draw.
McCauley, and he'll give us the call.
After reviewing the play, the call on the ice stands. No goal. High stick now.
Well, the Ducks did the right thing. Steve Mason didn't have his stick. So get the puck to the net and make the goaltender try to do something that is foreign to him, and that's try to stop pucks without his goal stick. And they did the right thing. But Perreault deemed to have used a high stick, so still 2-0.
Yeah, Matthew Perreault, terrific start to the season for him. 4 goals already. Oh, 3 or 4 inches away from goal number 5.
May have even been closer than that. It doesn't much matter, however, with 2.5 to go in the opening period. If nothing else, took the crowd out of it a little bit.
Yeah, and hopefully it puts the Flyers back on their heels a little bit. The Ducks have just not looked sharp, John, to me. In the early part, they've turned the puck over. There's another turnover that costs them.
And space for Zach Rinaldo, whose shot was deflected wide on a good defensive recovery, but Rinaldo down low working hard to try to get it back. This is the 4th line out for Philadelphia. Talbot centering Rinaldo and Jay Rosehill, who was property of the Ducks last season, and then during the offseason for a bit. Devontae Smith-Pelly hit by Luke Schenn, but he gets it deep. Anaheim will finish a change. Under 2 to go in the opening period.
I'm surprised that Craig Berube would put this 4th line on the ice at this stage of the period, John. A quick change by Boudreau gets Getzlaf over the boards. Now the Flyers are going to change in kind, but that's an opportunity. Philadelphia's 4th line does not play much, and they don't have a lot of speed.
Talbot gets spotted more so than Rosehill and Rinaldo because of his defensive abilities. Berube put him up on the top line in the 3rd period against the Islanders on Saturday, trying to protect a lead in a game in which the Flyers eventually won 5-2. They're 3-7 on the year, but have won their last 2. Flyers won't play again until Friday here at home against the Washington Capitals. The Ducks go to Boston from here. They'll play Thursday night against the Bruins. Perry hooks it in front. Maroon got a tip on it. Whoa, and Mason was swimming.
What a pass. What a great pass from Corey Perry to Patrick Maroon.
LeCavalier carries to center, dumps it in, and gives pursuit himself. Lovejoy forced to move it away. Fowler gets the feet moving, has his pocket picked from behind by the longtime Lightning star. Errant pass will be deemed icing against the Flyers as we trickle to half a minute to go in the opening frame.
Well, moments ago, Corey Perry with a good rush up ice. He gets across the blue line and then just fires a strike to Patrick Maroon. He was in tight, and Mason seals off the entire lower portion of the net.
Maroon was originally a 6th-round pick of the Flyers back in 2007. Spent a good 4 years in the organization, made his way to the Phantoms, their American League team, but never saw any time at the big club. Still, interestingly enough, Brian, I was noticing looking at the league stats, Patrick Maroon still considered a rookie by NHL standards. Despite having played 13 games last year, he didn't reach the threshold.
Another difficult save for Jonas Hiller on a high tip.
Voracek in the waning seconds gets it to the front of the net, fired wide. Oh, there was a lot of room there as the period comes to a close. And looking to the heavens is Andre Mazzaros, who can't believe he didn't make it 3-0.
Well, Jonas Hiller a little bit under siege when the Flyers' top line is on the ice, and you can see they come real close with a last-second bid here. Good period for Philadelphia, not so good for Anaheim. They looked a little bit sluggish, John. I thought the Flyers came out, they out-hit the Ducks. They were in on the forecheck. Anaheim said that they wanted to be the more aggressive forechecking team, but not the case in the opening period. And Philly has got the 2-0 lead.
The Flyers get one even strength. They get one on the power play in the opening 20 minutes of play at Wells Fargo Center. And they lead the Ducks 2-0. Back with more from Philadelphia in a moment. Anaheim Ducks hockey is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Satisfy your late night cravings with Jack's Munchie Meal. Available after 9 p.m. at participating restaurants. By AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. And by ANA, Japan's leading 5-star airline. 2 daily services from LAX to Tokyo, offering seamless connections to other Asian destinations. The Ducks haven't been in Philadelphia since October 21st of 2010, and it hasn't started well here tonight, down 2-0 after 1. For more, we go to the Anaheim bench and Lisa Hillary.
Thanks very much, John. Brad, how do you slow down the Flyers' forecheck?
Well, I think the big thing right now is that we're not doing the little things. We're not getting the pucks deep enough, and when we need to establish a good forecheck, and when we do that, you know, the momentum will swing our way.
Thanks for the time. John?
Thank you, Lisa. Just about set to begin the second period of play.
Moments ago, John, we watched Ryan Getzlaf go up to the referee and have a little bit of a discussion. It was a questionable call against Getzlaf that led to the Flyer power play goal, their only power play chance in the opening period, and a little bit of politicking by the Anaheim captain.
And, of course, the Ducks didn't agree with the no-goal call on the high stick of Matthew Perreault, so perhaps trying to get in the better graces of the officials. As the second period begins, an offside will be the call. This season, when the Ducks score 5 goals or more, fans, Hooters gives you 5 free wings. Print the coupon and head to Hooters, your destination for free wings in Southern California.
And this is ruled an intentional offside for Getzlaf.
It was a good call.
Yeah, and so the faceoff will come all the way down. Anaheim's, they got to be careful here not to be, complaining, whining to the referees too much, because that rarely works in your favor.
Getzlaf wins the draw. He's been 54% in his last 10 games in the circle, a marked improvement as he drops it off for Perry into the Philadelphia zone. Looking for Maroon as he comes in front and whips it right through the goal crease. Getzlaf was spun around by Grossman. Grossman goes to the end boards to intercept the wraparound up the wall. The Ducks activate but can't hold it in. As it was Vatanen who drove up the boards, Allen covers the point back in the neutral zone, and again it's lifted into the Philadelphia zone. Grossman moves it away for Braden Coburn. Former Atlanta Thrasher goes rink wide. Wayne Simmons into the Ducks end. Throws it off the end boards. Couturier leaning hard on Brian Allen, who only had one arm free, but was able to move the puck behind the goal. Winnick to center, had it taken away by Vinny Lecavalier. Allen trails the play, waits for the Ducks to get onside, brings it in. 3 assists in the last 6 games for Brian Allen, not known for his big offensive numbers. He goes to the bench and Lovejoy spells him. Sends it below the goal line. Fowler activates up the left boards to seal one off and keep it in. As he's tangled up with Lecavalier right there. Puck to the point and Fowler holds it in. Little saucer backhand pass to Winnick in the slot. Loses the handle. Bonino got the backhander away and a stick save by Mason.
That's a good stop by Mason. Nick Bonino did exactly what he wanted to do with that puck, and Mason just beat him with the blocker stave.
Michael Raffel, who had not played higher professional level than Division II pro in Sweden before this season, was knocked down as he tried to bring the puck in. I mentioned Raffel finds himself playing with the finest, with Giroux and Lecavalier, so a chance for him to show off his offensive exploits if he has them. at this level, albeit only 6 games into his NHL experience. Now it's Luke Schenn. His little pass broken up by Winnick, who then deflects it over the glass and out of play.
Boy, Nick Bonino looked skyward once again moments ago because this puck, nice little play into the middle of the ice. So Bonino takes it skate to stick, does a nice job kicking it up from his skate to his stick, chops the backhander, and you can see the goaltender just got a little piece of it, but he's had a couple of great chances here tonight.
Ducks win the draw in their own zone. Solani chips it up the wing. Emerson Edom going after it into the Philadelphia zone. Puts pressure on Mark Streit all the way below the goal line. Braden Schenn fails to clear. Lindholm holds it in. The first shot got through. Kicked away by Mason. Good job by Hampus as he waited for the traffic to come from Emerson Edom, and then he pulled the trigger.
You see a lot more determination in trying to get some pressure in the offensive zone here, John. The opening part of the second period, Brad Lauer was speaking to Lisa Hillary about that earlier, that they got to get that forecheck going, and that's the Flyers' weakness. The back end, not a lot of foot speed. They should be vulnerable to the speed of the Ducks up front.
Voracek winds it around, and Edom at the end of the shift gets bumped pretty hard. Jay Rosehill put the shoulder into it. Pass into the middle of the ice, tipped over on right wing, and it's Ronaldo who carries it in. Talbot bumped off the puck by Smith-Pelly, and it's lifted back out center ice. Flyers possessed, but they're going to have to get onside. Mazzaros coughs it up. Smith-Pelly backhands it right into the goal crease. Mason steers it aside to Lovejoy, whose shot is sticked away again by the Philadelphia netminder. Smith-Pelly, who has 2 assists in 3 games since being recalled from Norfolk, keeps it alive. Holland for Lovejoy. That's off the leg of Talbot and wide. Max Talbot getting in a shooting lane, and now it's cleared away as Smith-Pelly bumping with Rosehill behind the play. 2 of them go to their respective benches for changes, and the Ducks bank it right back into the Philadelphia zone. Palmieri trying to muscle it ahead, and now Lovejoy does get it to Perry off the wing, and that sticks to Mason. And a little fencing behind the goal involving Corey Perry and Max Talbot, who's known for stirring things up. Both of those guys have been known to get under opponents' skins. And a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, that you can look forward to Miller Time. That's coming up later on in tonight's game. As always, brought to you by Miller Lite.
I always kind of like it when Corey Perry seems to get a fire lit under him in the game. There are a lot of players that the meaner and the nastier the game gets, it can throw them off. Perry gets better in those situations.
Ducks win the draw. The one-timer by Botman was blocked, and now the Flyers the other way. Botman steps right in and loses his stick as he stepped into Couturier, who now collects the puck on the far side.
Getzlaf, no stick in the middle of the ice.
Yeah, he gave his to Sammy Botman. That stick that he gave Botman's almost as tall as Sammy, probably. As Ryan uses a longer version, let's see how Botman handles it. Well, he does the smart thing. He just sends it around the boards. Unfortunately, Coburn held it in. Now it's Couturier who gets to it on the far side. Maroon just crashes into him. Engages him along the boards, knocking him down. Couturier from one knee moves it ahead. Got it through and came back to Reed in front. Boy, he's been in the middle of everything tonight. Around the perimeter, it's Coburn looking for a shooting lane. He'll bring it across the top. Grossman's shot blocked by Perry, flutters behind the goal. Swung up the boards and off the stick of Coburn, so no icing as it was cleared by Maroon. Ducks will get a change. Just over 5 minutes into the second period in Philadelphia, the Flyers on top 2-0. Rattle tips it back into the Anaheim zone. Fowler back after it, and he'll rim it hard around. Chipped into the middle. Winnick recovers once, twice, now kicks it to center. Sails by Raffle, and he'll go back in after it. The Fowler beats him to it, hits the brakes, and moves it to the middle of the ice.
Cam Fowler pivots, make sure he has that puck on the forehand side before he makes that pass into the middle. That's so important for the Anaheim defenders, these young defensemen, not to make a lot of backhanded passes in the defensive zone.
Cagliano steals a puck. Winnick curling to the middle of the ice, and then dropping down was Raffle, who got his stick in there and knocks it away. Claude Giroux the other way. Drop pass to LeCavalier. Back to Giroux. broken up as Fowler got a stick in there. He didn't get as much on it as he wanted. He gets it back, but misses straight at the line. It'll go all the way into the Philadelphia zone.
To me, like Claude Giroux has got his confidence back, John, because he's been very good in tonight's game. You can really see a big difference when both he and Lecavalier are on the ice together.
Giroux has 3 assists in the last 2 games. Now 6 in his last 6 total. As Perreault on the back check catches up with Braden Shen and takes the puck away from him. Lindholm had a stick handle through. Voracek gets some help from Perreault, who's spun down in the neutral zone, and the Flyers get it back. Voracek had 22 goals a season ago. He's 8th in the league for the Flyers. He's back to help out the defense right now as they go D to D to D with it, and the Ducks just watch. Now Mazzaro sends it rink wide, and Hartnell finally flips it in. Anaheim had Philadelphia a little bit bottled up as they had to regroup a couple different times before they got their breakout going. Lindholm takes the body down low, and the loose puck picked up by Perreault. Solani at center chips it into the Philadelphia zone. Didn't get it deep though, and Colburn turns up ice. Braden Colburn, up right wing. Backhand from a bad angle is off the stick of Hiller, and the rebound quickly moved away. Palmieri got it to Holland, who gets his own chip into the Philadelphia zone and then is hammered behind the net as Strike and Smith-Pelly collide with him.
And that was his own player, Smith-Pelly, who got the biggest bite out of it.
Colburn headmans to Talbot, who gets double-teamed along the far boards, and then Votman knocks it loose. He'll use the net as a shield, reverses it, and Allen quickly gives it right back to him. Well, a crisp pass, and now Votman trying to snap it ahead, and that's out of the reach of Smith-Pelly. So icing will be the call.
I want to go back to that play where Ryan Getzlaf had to give his stick up because Sammy Votman had lost his stick. Look at the middle of the ice now. Now Getzlaf's a center with significant responsibilities. He says to Pat Maroon, hey, you go in and assume the role of center in the defensive zone. You've got a stick. I don't. So good communication between Getzlaf and Maroon.
Coach Getzlaf that time instead of Captain Getzlaf. Getzlaf with points in 2 straight games coming into tonight as Palmieri makes a nifty play to chip it around the defense and then goes busting in and gets a hard shot on Mason that he reels back in. So we'll step aside in Philadelphia. Still 2-0. Time for Getting Things Done, brought to you by YP.com, the new way to do.
Well, we said with Saku Koivu out of the lineup tonight that there would be additional responsibilities for Nick Bonino, and we've been tracking him all game. What you'll see is a lot of offensive opportunities for Bonino. This one on the power play was his best. It was a block shot by Luke Chen. Blocking shots as part of the Ducks penalty killing unit. He really is a versatile player, and he's had some good opportunities to put the Ducks on the board in this game. John, I continue to, during the television timeouts, watch Anaheim star players, and without exception, whether it's Getzlaf or Perry or Solani, is spending an awful lot of time talking with the referees. And it's quite an animated conversation. It's not, it doesn't seem to be casual at all in nature.
Flyers sent sprawling in the neutral zone, and that draws the ire of the faithful officials in Philadelphia. And Perry digs it out of the corner, throws it across. Fowler handles it off the boards, makes a move. Back to the right point, Lovejoy's shot. Blocked by Reed, and it's in the netting above the high glass.
I've really been impressed with the play of Matt Reed in tonight's game. He not only scores the first goal, he's had a bunch of other chances. He's made some nice defensive plays as well. And that's kind of one of those blocks that takes a lot of courage. You're about 10, 15 feet away from the defenseman when he's winding up. You know you're not going to be able to get your shin pads close enough to him to take the brunt of any shot blasted your way. But Reed is there, and he makes the play.
2 years ago, 24 goals for Matt Reed. This year, he's among the league leaders in takeaways, so playing on both sides, as you were talking about. And he's had an impact in this one. He got the first goal of the game tonight, giving him 3 goals in his last 4 games.
Big year for him, final year of his contract for Matt Reed. There's a big college free agent signing out of Bemidji State that a lot of teams were interested in.
They signed him to a 4-year extension in the offseason. He's all locked up here. He's one of the many Flyers that, I mean, you look down this roster, Brian, there's so many guys that they have committed to, and they've got long-term contracts here.
A lot of 6-year deals.
Yeah. It was a big deal in the offseason, an 8-year deal for Claude Giroux. Now here's a foot race for a loose puck, and Voracek bumping with Lindholm. Got the backhander away, and Hiller stayed with it, with his own defenseman sliding across his view, and Bonino comes back and nearly set up Cogliano. Winnick throws it to the front of the net, comes right back to him. Behind the goal for Cogliano. It's been a little helter-skelter at both ends for the last 45 seconds or so. Bonino hit hard by Hartnell, gets it to the point. Lovejoy across, Fowler's shot comes through, and Mason covers up.
Nick Bonino saying that's a high stick. No call on that play. Here was the rush up ice by Voracek. Lindholm with the sweep check attempt, and Voracek shows some high skill. I mean, there are very few players that can throw on the brakes like this, spin on a dime, and force the goaltender to make a real good stop. Here was the high stick by Hartnell into the face or chin of Nick Bonino that went uncalled.
Well, you go back to Jacob Voracek, Brian. He's a highly skilled player, but he's a big guy, too. 6'2", 215. He just kind of shuddered off of the hit by Lindholm there and kept his balance to get that shot away. Rush up ice from LeCavalier, speaking of big bodies. Former first overall pick, and now Perreault is going to... Oh, wow, they're going to call Giroux for diving. Fans thought the penalty was going to be on Perreault, so did he. And as the play goes up ice, Hiller to the bench. The Ducks get the 6th attacker on. Perreault gets it back to Lovejoy. Getzlaf comes over the boards as the 6th attacker, gives it to Fowler, right back for the captain. Ducks very patient here and doing a good job to make sure they try to get something out of this into the middle of the ice. Edom on the backhand. That one hit Perreault. He didn't know where it went. Touched up by Strike. And Claude Giroux voicing his displeasure with the officials now. It's his turn. He'll have a couple of minutes to cool off.
Claude Giroux sits in the box, doesn't look too pleased. It's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for embellishing and trying to draw a call against Matthew Perreault. And you'll see the contact here is not all that significant, but it's the kick to the feet up in the air, I think, that did it for the referee. And there is the reaction of Claude Giroux, who says, I did not act at all.
Second power play of the night for the Ducks. They're 0 for 1 as Bonino takes the draw in the Philadelphia zone and wins it back to Vatanen. To Getzlaf. One-timer gloved off by Mason.
That's a good stop. Mason's been very good in this game. And Getzlaf got pretty good wood on that shot. And Mason able to snare it with the right hand. He's been sharp, been very impressed with his game.
Face off this time to his right, controlled by the Flyers, who will send it away, and Hiller wanders out to settle for Getzlaf. Just past the halfway mark of the hockey game in Philadelphia. All the scoring coming in the first period. The Flyers lead 2-0.
John, you almost get the feeling the way Mason's playing that the Ducks are going to have to get to a rebound to beat them tonight. I mean, the first stops have all looked pretty routine for him. He appears to be in that zone. We heard about this when the Ducks arrived in Philadelphia, just how impressed everyone was with Mason's play this season. Philadelphia, despite their record, comes into tonight's game with the 7th best defensive record in the entire National Hockey League, and of course goaltending is a big part of that.
He's played all but 2 games. Former Duck Ray Emery is his backup. The numbers, with the exception of wins and losses, very good for Mason coming into tonight. A .930 save percentage. And the goals against him just above 2. Bonino quickly over to Getzlaf. Through traffic, and a good save as Maroon was screening. Mason again keeps it out. Good puck recovery by the Ducks, and Perry swings it around. Another penalty coming up to the Flyers.
No,
it's against Anaheim, excuse me.
Nick Bonino is going to go. Too bad, because the Ducks, after that recovery, had some pretty good puck movement. It's a hooking penalty against Bonino. We're going to look at it right here. And Grossman, yeah. You see a little tug onto the hip of Nick Grossman. That's going to cost him a couple minutes. Here was the Ducks throwing the puck into the leg pads of Mason. Unfortunately, Pat Maroon unable to corral that rebound. Hooking penalty against Bonino. Will play 4-on-4 for the next minute and 1 second.
Both teams even in 4-on-4 situations to this point on the season as Fowler off the one face-off by Perreault. Sets up from behind the net. He'll outlet up the left side and Lovejoy into the middle of the ice. And just outside the stripe, winds it around. Mason thinks better of wandering to play it. Palmieri pulls it off the boards. His stick hooked away. He fights through it. Got a lot on it, and Mason couldn't corral it, but he kept it out.
Yeah, that's a good stop by Mason again, and a gutsy play by Kyle Palmieri, who knew that Mazzaros was going to just drill him, which he did.
And then a good play on the back check by Palmieri as he tied up Timonen, who tried to jump into the middle of the ice. Perreault now sends it across, missed Palmieri with it, and the play is offside. Well, get your Ducks starter pack today. The starter pack includes 6 games and a hot dog and soda per seat per game. Get yours now at AnaheimDucks.com/microplans.
Anaheim skating much better here in the second period. That was the play by Palmieri, and you can see that Mazzaros, who's back into the Flyers lineup tonight after being a healthy scratch for the last 5 games, did his job.
And Mazzaros has only played 16 games in over 600 days due to injuries. He injured his Achilles a couple of years ago in off-season training. He's had shoulder problems. He mentioned the healthy scratch. Just the second time in his career that he'd ever been healthy scratched, and the only other time was just for 1 game. So he's been out of the lineup for a couple of weeks now. Here's Giroux. His penalty has expired. The Flyers on the power play. Poked away by Getzlaf. He's got a short-handed break. Voracek trying to catch him. Forces him to the backhand, and he hoisted it over top.
A good play by Voracek to continue to apply the pressure on Getzlaf.
Flyers with numbers as they bring it back in. Giroux to Voracek across, and missing on the redirect as he falls to the far post was LeCavalier.
Boy, he's going hard to the net tonight. He is a load to have to deal with.
Coming off that hat trick, he's feeling it, isn't he?
Yeah, I've just been so impressed with, it's almost reckless abandon as he attacks the goal crease tonight.
Coming up on 900 career points. The first overall pick back in '98, Vinny LeCavalier, now wearing a different sweater.
Too many men. Philadelphia's got too many men.
Tagliano, short-handed with a little 2-man rush with Winnick, unable to get the shot on goal. Play goes on. Apparently you're the only one making that call. Ducks bench was up in arms, but to no avail. Bonino's penalty is over. He's out of the box. Both teams full strength. Edom takes the head man from Winnick. Bad angle shot. Kick to the end boards by Mason. Flyers now 1 of 2 on the night on the power play. And here's Colbert in full flight. On the wing, and a hard shot by Hartnell goes straight up in the air off of Hiller. Grossman at the line. The former Dallas Star got his shot through, and the rebound carefully played away by Perreault, but Grossman got to it again. Swatted out of the zone by Lindholm, and Colburn back to get it. Things opening up a little bit here.
Yeah, they certainly
off the 4-on-4 play. And then a couple power plays. Oh, it comes through to Hartnell. Oh, and a changeup that Hiller made the pad save on.
That was a battling stop on the rebound as well by Jonas Hiller. If he doesn't get a swat on that puck with his goal stick, Talbot was in a great spot to put the rebound home.
Long stretch comes to Talbot on right wing, and he one-hands it around Beauchemin deep into the Anaheim zone. Brian Allen does a nice job to draw Talbot and then move it away for Smith-Pelly. Rowe's been out there a long time as he banks it ahead, and Smith-Pelly initiates the contact with Luke Schenn. Goes to the end boards after it. Still possesses a Schenn. Follows him up the wall, back behind the net. Palmieri tries to bring it in front. Palmieri's pass out of the reach of Holland. And loose to the corner. Knocked down by Smith-Pelly. Good hard work and shift here from Anaheim's 4th line. Palmieri to the corner, got after it. Holland stays in deep as the forechecker and pursues the puck while Anaheim changes. LeCavalier lost the pass a little bit in his feet. Luke Schenn tries to clear, and he gets a little bit of help from Giroux, who came back down. Giroux gets it from LeCavalier. The trailer is Raffle, and his shot went over top of the net.
They did not miss by much. Again, Giroux, the magician in the offensive zone, just getting a great read.
Yeah, he's facilitating everything tonight, isn't he?
Yep.
Long time between whistles as we are down to under 5 minutes to go in the second period of play. Votman from behind his own net, and the return pass hops his stick, chops it ahead, and got a little tip from Getzlaf. Pulls it into his feet and now hands it off for Perry. Corey Perry, little stop and go move up the right boards. Changing speeds, tries to bring it in front. Mason got a stick on it, was Lusso. Not getting much on the backhander was Getzlaf, and it trickled just wide. Maroon from a bad angle, and that's off the stick of Mason. Lovejoy keeps it deep. Perry plays it along. Getzlaf behind the net. The Flyers are content to let him stay there. To Fowler. That shot blocked. Simmons got a skating away. Lovejoy keeps it alive behind the net off the stick of Perry and rimmed up the wall. Fowler gets to the line to hold it in. Nifty little touch pass between the legs by Getzlaf. Maroon couldn't reach it. Reed feeds it around, but again, Lovejoy activates to keep it deep.
And the Ducks did a change, too. I mean, there's not a lot of juice left in the Anaheim
for
players.
either team.
Yeah, great shift, though. Wonderful pressure by Anaheim down low. They've done a much better job of that here in the second.
Another giveaway. Getzlaf brings it in at the end of a shift. Just misses. Hefty rebound for Cogliano, and he pots it. It's 2-1.
Almost seemed inevitable, John. The last 2 or 3 minutes, the Ducks with great pressure. Getzlaf takes the shot, and Andrew Cogliano, who had come off the bench on a change with fresh legs, goes right to the net. This is a perfect carom for Cogliano, but that puck was rolling. He did a nice job to one-time this puck. And I'll say this about Mason. He almost gets there. I mean, that took a perfect shot by Andrew Cogliano to beat the goaltender Mason. And the Ducks have turned it around and are right back in this game.
His second goal of the season is his 200th career NHL point. And Ryan Getzlaf, Ryan, was at the end of a very long shift. He was the one guy who was caught out because he was on the far side of the ice. Give the captain a lot of credit. He stayed with the play and made a play at the end of a very long shift.
You know what's interesting about that is that it actually really went against the natural instincts of Ryan Getzlaf. Is that Getzlaf very much a pass-first type of player.
Yeah, he ends up shooting the puck, and good things happen.
Good things happen. I mean, it's a shot that goes wide, but it's a good bounce for the Ducks and a terrific conversion by Cogliano. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do when that puck is coming at you with pace and it's not sitting flat.
So we got a brand new game now, 2-1 with just over 3 minutes to go in the second period, and you can see the life in Andrew Cogliano and the rest of the Ducks as a result of the marker that cut this Philadelphia lead in half. And now everybody banging into one another as Edom gets a shoulder into the puck. Came right to the front of the net. Solani just couldn't get the handle.
Boy, what a play that would have been. Solani was wide open. I don't think he was expecting the pass, John.
Flyers the other way as Schenn battles it around Beauchemin. And from behind it at the centering pass for Hartnell. Knifed off his stick. Brayden Schenn tries to bring it in front again, and his pass across is broken up. Nice play by Lindholm. And it goes off his leg to the corner. Hampus Lindholm came into tonight sharing the league lead in plus-minus. He's 19 years old. Plus 11 as he's flushed from behind his own net and has his pocket pick, but then turns back to knock it away. That was Michael Raffel. Now Giroux takes it away. His pass off the heel of his stick comes to the high slot. And Mark Streit keeps it alive. Solani knocks it out of midair. Perreault picks it up, wants to go over for Lindholm. Again, the Ducks at the end of his shift, though. And Lindholm knocks it out of midair. That was a big play.
He's juice. He had to change in the neutral zone in the second period, where it's a long change to your bench. The Hampus Lindholm had nothing left.
If he doesn't get that out of midair, it's an odd man rush the other way. And now an errant pass off an Anaheim stick will go out of play. And everybody can catch their breath. Minute 41 to go in the second. Thanks to Andrew Cogliano. It's a new game.
Ducks are back in this game, and Ryan Getzlaf is fully engaged in the second period. He has been a force, and he's been dangerous. Just misses on the backhand on that partial breakaway. Didn't miss by much on the backhander that was deflected en route to the net. And when the big guy starts to shoot the puck, great things happen. Bounce off the inboards, a nice conversion by Cogliano, but here's the night for Getzlaf thus far. Just played 12 and a half minutes, so he should have plenty of gas left in the tank for the third period. And he has been heating up, John. He has really been controlling pucks down low in the offensive zone and making plays.
After a slow start to his season, 12 points and +7 in his last 10 games. And as you and I know so well, and we've talked almost ad nauseum about at times, as go Getzlaf and Perry so often, so go the Ducks. So it's good to see him going so well. He and Perry sharing the team lead with 13 points each as the Ducks work in the Philadelphia zone. Lovejoy's shot looking for a tip from Maroon. Ends up on Colburn's stick, but he ran into Perry behind the goal. Just over a minute to go in the middle frame. The Ducks picking up the only goal of the stanza, and it's now 2-1. Flyers got 2 in the first. The Cogliano goal has put the Ducks back within a goal. Off the stick of Maroon into the Philadelphia zone. Mazaros turns off the wall and clears to center as now less than a minute remains.
You see what the presence of Getzlaf and Perry does. I mean, that's just getting rid of the puck for no reason. The Flyers just know who's on the ice, and they've been instructed don't turn it over against that pair of players in particular.
Matt Reed just uses the wall to clear to center and bats it down there. Half a minute to go now in the period as it's wired back in by Brian Allen. Took a strange bounce and comes back to Allen, who gloves it down to hold the zone.
He drilled it right off of the referee, actually.
I'm surprised I didn't hear a cheer. We are in Philadelphia, for goodness sake.
You did, both benches, actually.
It's not as loud as the 18,000 at Wells Fargo Center. Mason gets a stick on it behind the goal, and it'll come around and out of the zone, and that's going to do it for the middle period. The Ducks still down in Philadelphia after 2, but it's much more manageable after 40 minutes than it was after 20.
Well, it's just a completely different period for Anaheim. The lethargy is gone from their game, and so they've picked it up. They're getting in on the forecheck, and they're continuing to get chances against Mason. And I think that's the most encouraging thing of all, is that the Flyers don't look like they're going to be capable of denying Anaheim scoring chances the rest of the way.
The Flyers have been outscored in the third period this season by a count of 12-5. Anaheim hopes it continues in the third because Cogliano has them back within 1. All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Anaheim Ducks is expressly prohibited. As you look at City Hall in Philadelphia, Benjamin Franklin perched atop it, and that is not Benjamin Franklin. In the concourse here at Wells Fargo, with the Ducks down a goal after 2 periods of play, which brings us to tonight's AT&T Rewind. It could be a tie hockey game were it not for this in the first period.
Now the shot by Francois Beauchemin comes in high. It's redirected by Matthew Perreault. The referee on the ice surface, Wes McCauley, immediately signaled no goal, knocked in with a high stick. It was supported by video review, but I always wonder in those situations, if McCauley had not made that call, would the video replay have been conclusive enough to overturn a good goal call?
I don't think so. I don't think either way that call was going to be reversed. As you and I said at the time, it was close. And that corner view that we had a look at there, I think probably kept it from really being all that controversial because it was close in the call on the ice. Certainly precedes that, and as they say, it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn it.
Well, Matthew Perreault, we just had a good shot of him over at the Ducks bench. Been very good, John. You know, you always wonder with a centerman in particular, I think, a player that makes passes on both his forehand and backhand side throughout the course of a game. You wonder if coming back from a wrist injury would have really hampered his effectiveness. It has not. He's been terrific tonight.
Yeah, and in the face-off circle, better than 50%. He's won 5 of 8 draws that he's taken. And that takes a little bit of heat off Ryan Getzlaf, who takes the majority of the face-offs for the Ducks in a game. But Perreault really helping out in the absence of Saku Koivu. In case you're just joining us, you missed Sunday's broadcast. Koivu is back in Southern California.
Here's a good look at Sami Vatanen. I spoke to him before the game. I asked him if he modeled his game at all after Kimmo Timonen, the small, Finnish, offensive-minded defenseman who's nearing the end of his career with the Flyers. And he said Timonen was one guy. He said Brian Rafalski was another guy. And Scott Niedermayer would be the third guy that I used to love to watch as a kid growing up. Timonen, who signed a one-year deal for $6 million. John, I will say this. His absence in terms of joining the rush has been very noticeable to me tonight.
Part of why he doesn't have a point yet this season in 11 games, and Timonen has led this team defense and scoring in goals, assists, and points each of the last 2 years. Long-time Nashville Predator, was a captain there as well. Has always been a big scorer. And, you know, going back to what you said about Vatanen and his comments, you know, when he mentions Timonen and then he mentions Niedermayer and also Rafalski, some people might say, why Brian Rafalski growing up in Finland? But a lot of people don't realize Rafalski, after finishing up at the University of Wisconsin, didn't have any options in North America, so he played over in Sweden and in Finland for 4 years before he was quote-unquote discovered by Lou Lamoriello and brought back to play in the National Hockey League.
Timonen now 38 years old, so father time catches up with all of us at some point.
Boy, I hope it never happens to me. Fowler's shot deflected out of play. A bit of a slow start to this third period. Just 32 seconds gone. New this year, all rental suites for Ducks games are all-inclusive with your choice from a variety of food and beverage menus. Call today, 714-634-2582 for more information and pricing. Bonino to take the draw on the circle to the right of Mason, and Claude Giroux controls for Philadelphia. Giroux has spent his entire 7-year NHL experience here in Philadelphia, and we mentioned earlier that 8-year extension he signed in the offseason probably guarantees that he's going to spend a lot more time in the city of brotherly love. He tries to pursue the puck up the wall, and their team and pinches and knocks it away from Palmieri. He knocks it away from LeCavalier, and he is in on a breakaway. Palmieri approaches Mason. Score! He opened him up and slid it 5-hole.
What a move by Kyle Palmieri.
That's a goal scorer's move.
You know, LeCavalier was trying to get that puck into the crease area, and it was a good block by Palmieri. You know, he aligns his body with his own goal net. Watch him battle through the check, get into the right spot, and away he goes. And they're not going to catch Palmieri. Head up, measures the goaltender, quick little move, and slides it through the 5-hole to tie this game out. A thing of beauty. You can see Mason a little sloppy with the stick work there, not taking the space between his pads along the ice away.
So Palmieri, who appeared to be a little snake bit the other night in Columbus, gets his due, tying this game up with his second of the season. He's got 4 points in the last 7 games now that he has participated in. And at 1:01 of the third, the Ducks have tied it up in Philadelphia. An unassisted goal as Hartnell finds himself alone in front, but he had to reach behind to get the pass and couldn't pull the trigger the way he wanted. Off the skate of Oshima, it goes to the corner. Hartnell trying to spin off of him. Oshima gets help from Perreault, who's pinned to the boards by Schenn. And Francois able to swat it free, and the Ducks will break back. Lindholm joins the rush, comes to center red, and flips it in. A knuckler on net that is sticked to the corner by Mason. Edom went in after it. He collided with Solani, who's down in some distress in the corner. And Teemu hasn't moved, and he will be attended to by Joe Huff. He and Edom both went to the corner after a loose puck, and it appeared as if they may have been friendly fire there, as I think Edom collided with Teemu. He lay prone on the ice for a while and hasn't really moved a whole lot.
Well, let's see if we can pick it up. It's the stick
of
Schenn that hits Teemu Solani right in the mouth, and then when he falls, watch his head. He's going to fall backwards here. He takes the stick in the face, and boy, his head hits hard, John. It snaps back. No call on the high stick, by the way, on Luke Schenn. But I think it was when Solani fell backwards after the shot in the mouth where his head hit the ice.
Well, the 21-year veteran with a towel to his mouth as he gets up, aided back to the Anaheim bench. And this has been a trip where it just seems like a nightly occurrence where Anaheim loses a player, and it remains to be seen whether Teemu will return to this game. Yeah, there you see his head hits the ice pretty hard.
You really see it from this angle right here. Boom. Well, you know what? From that angle, not as bad as I at first thought. And it appears to be the mouth which is creating most of the issues right now for Teemu Solani. Boy, he has had some bad jaw injuries. mouth injuries during his career, especially in the last 3 or 4 years.
It's becoming a nightly occurrence where Bruce Boudreau has to juggle his lines out of necessity, not because he's trying to find a combination that works, as is so often the case for him when he is trying to generate some offense or get some life for his hockey club. It's because players just aren't available to him, and we'll see if Solani will be able to come back. We'll try to get a report as it becomes available. Devontae Smith-Pelly chips it off the boards. Peter Holland got it to the net. Long rebound to Vatanen, and that's held by Mason. He punched the initial shot from Holland all the way out to Vatanen, who just took it off the tee. And he was able to hold the second bit.
And especially after a player goes down with an injury, to come right back with a pretty good burst here is a good sign for Boudreau and the Ducks. Mason slides. Oh, he's already on his knees. Unfortunately, Vatanen can't hit one of the corners. A difficult thing to do when shooting. That one-timer with the puck kind of spinning the way that it was, he did well just to get it on the net.
Peter Holland wins the draw. Vatanen thinks better of trying to get it to the net and spins it around. Brian Allen activates, got it into the middle, and Smith-Pelly covered his point as he retreats through neutral ice with it. Vatanen's pass into the middle, knocked off the stick of Holland. Right back to Vatanen, and he'll go across to his partner, Brian Allen. Ahead off the skate of Winnick. It goes deep into the zone. Holland to the corner, leaned on by Braden Coburn. Coburn leads the Flyers in ice time so far in this game. And here comes Giroux across the line to Talbot. And it was knocked off his stick. Back come the Ducks. This is that first line combination I mentioned earlier in the game. Berube did this in New York on Saturday. He takes
Raffl off the line.
And puts Talbot up there.
It's like he doesn't trust Raffl defensively.
Here's a chance for Perry, and Mason holds on.
He's got more confidence in Talbot, so Talbot, who centers the fourth line, he's not going to play his fourth line. I would be surprised to see the ice this
especially in a tie game now.
Yeah. So now he moves Talbot over to the left wing to play with Giroux and with LeCavalier.
You know, Simmons and Perry haven't seen each other much since Wayne Simmons got traded from the Kings to the Flyers, but it appears as if they remember one another.
Yeah, there's some healthy hatred there.
They've been going at it almost every time they've been on the ice together in this game.
And this is another element, John, that I like about Patrick Maroon being on this top line, because Maroon is a guy who is not afraid to drop the gloves. And sometimes, because of the style of game that Perry and Getzlaf play, they invite the real physical play, not only between the whistles, but after the whistle.
From a sharp angle, Perry's shot ricochets off the big pads of Steve Mason, and Maroon gets it back. Allen looking for a tip from Maroon, and Coburn tied up his stick. That was a nice looking little play there. Maroon coming off the right boards into the middle of the ice, and Allen put a strike there for him. Back in the Anaheim zone, Getzlaf works it free, and just missing Vatanen coming out of the zone was Patrick Maroon. Wired around, Getzlaf takes it off his skate, and a home run pass to Perry, trying to catch the Flyers on a change. Drop pass into the zone to Cogliano. He peels back, finds a third man trailing the play. Perreault's pass into the middle, split a pair of Ducks, and ends up in the near corner. Tied at 2 in Philadelphia. 16-10 to go in the game. Couturier throws it into the middle of the ice, and Voracek just missed. Again with a man leaning on him. He's strong, Brian.
He is so strong, and here he is with another strip.
Yeah, he takes it away and moves it into the middle of the ice. And it takes 3 different Ducks to dislodge the puck. And Cogliano just sand wedges it back. Palmieri gives chase. Hartnell's pass in the middle of the ice picked off by Cogliano, and Palmieri has it again. Bonino joins him. He chips it to the corner. Turning with it is Schenn up the glass, knocked down by the glove of Lindholm, and then swatted away by Hartnell. Ducks will have to get onside. Boschman makes sure everybody is, and he sends it in. Sticked away by Mason. Anaheim trying to get a change here as the Ducks start to carry the play a little bit here in the third period.
Speed. It's all about the quickness.
Out shooting the Flyers now 27 and 24. As Smith-Pelly denied at the blue line, but on a second effort gets it deep. Strange bounce off the corner boards, and Giroux had to hustle after it. Away to center, Scott Hartnell. And he sends it in on the short hop. Hartnell, another of the Flyers that got a big off-season contract extension. Fowler plays it across, and Lovejoy hard off the wall and out with a little bit of help from Edom. Cross ice for Smith-Pelly, and he chops it in. Perreault will pursue. Mazzaro loses it to Perreault. In front for Smith-Pelly. Big save, Mason.
What a stop. And again, it's Matthew Perreault, the playmaker.
3-on-2 of the Flyers. Raffle just trickles it through the slot out of the reach of Giroux. Simmons battling Smith-Pelly, and it's moved up the wall. Perreault goes backhand across the zone. Emerson Edom gets center red and gets it deep, and then he gets drilled by Luke Schenn.
Now, Schenn came a long way.
Sure did.
Probably surprised at the power that Emerson Edom has. I mean, people are just finding out about Edom.
Especially the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, that's especially the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah.
How many games has it been in 11 years?
Well, it's the first time these teams have played in over 3 years. Here's Getzlaf off the tip from Maroon. Very patient, tries to get it back to him. Knocked away, he'll try again right into the crease. And Perry was at the far post to boot.
Yeah, both Maroon and Perry go into the blue paint. And the Flyers able to recover and get the clear.
Lindholm from behind the Anaheim goal. Postma stretches off the stick of Maroon, but he didn't get it deep, and it's flipped right back by the Flyers. Voracek put it out of play, so we'll step aside. An early goal in the third period for Anaheim from Kyle Palmieri, and it's 2-2.
The Ducks have really ramped it up in terms of the forecheck. They've been aggressive down below the goal line. Here's a turnover by the Flyers, and Matthew Perreault sets up Devontae Smith-Pelly. Boy, what a stop that was. A battling save by the goaltender. Almost looked when you looked at that replay that Mason lost his balance coming out. There's the big hit by Schenn on Devontae Smith-Pelly. And then Ryan Getzlaf sealed off, but trying to work this puck to the front of the net. He's got both of his line mates in the vicinity. The Flyers, though, boy, they've collapsed right back down to the goal line.
Now they're deep in the Anaheim zone. Centering pass calmly picked off, though, by Bonino, who dropped down. And the Ducks three out breast into the Philadelphia zone. Palmieri has it poked off his stick. Oh, and Luke Schenn drills him into the corner border. Excuse me, with strike. And good to see Palmieri bounce up after that. And now he retreats defensively as he covers the point. Braden Schenn and Hartnell the other way. And Schenn stepped into, puck's in his feet. And the Ducks able to work it out of the zone. Well, Palmieri looked like he was pretty vulnerable when he got checked into the boards, but good to see him stay out on the shift. Schenn gets a stick on the hard pass through the slot, but can't direct it on goal. And the Ducks back the other way. Smith-Pelly's on his own as he tries to get through Nicholas Grossman. Grossman, the Swede, who spent time with the Dallas Stars in his 8th year in the league. One of the premier shot blockers in all the National Hockey League. And good work by Smith-Pelly, who digs one out of the corner and works it rink wide for Daniel Winnick. He fires it in wide, and Holland gets to it first, put it right on goal. Fat rebound, but Fowler thought better of going after it. He had to peel back, allowing Timonen to work it up the wall. Ducks get possession, but have to clear the line to do so they'll get a change as they get onside. Gloved down by Mason behind the net.
John, that was a real good shift. Smith-Pelly, Holland out there opposing Giroux and LeCavalier, and they had possession of the puck for the majority of that shift.
And make them play in the other end. Can do that. It's a good shift. Vatanen spun around in the neutral zone, but recovers to get to the puck back in his own zone as Couturier gets chased.
I like the way Brian Allen kind of put the brakes on there. He could have buried the Flyer forward, decided not to, does not want to take a penalty.
Maroon centers right through the Philadelphia goal crease. Allen comes in late and keeps it deep. Nice job with one hand on the stick by Perry to keep the puck alive for Maroon. Back to the point, but the Ducks were changing defensively, so it'll come all the way into the Anaheim zone.
You see the size of Maroon down low, and he keeps pucks alive. He's a perfect complement at times to Getzlaf and Perry, in that his strength is down below the top of the circles. His work along the boards has been first rate tonight.
A rare shift for Philadelphia's fourth line as Zach Rinaldo carried it in, and as it comes back out, Palmieri fires at the length of the ice. Icing will be the call. Now, good to see Palmieri, despite him icing the puck there, that he's back on the ice, because this is what happened in his previous shift, and it didn't look very comforting.
Yeah, that was Mark Streit. And Streit gets a good angle on Palmieri and just follows through with a pretty powerful upper body that throws him into the boards. Streit, no more as an offensive defenseman.
And he signed a 4-year deal in the offseason. Stride will be 37 in December. So, again, the Flyers with a hefty deal for a veteran. Fowler has it poked off his stick after the drop pass from Bonino, and now Lovejoy retreating through neutral ice, lobs it back in as the Ducks get onside.
John, we just got word out of the Anaheim locker room. Teemu Selanne will not return in tonight's game.
In case you're just joining us, it was about 4 minutes ago or so that he was high-sticked in the corner and went to the Anaheim locker room with the aid of Joe Huff. Tied at 2, Kyle Palmieri unassisted in 1:01 of the second period, and Anaheim has come from 2 down to all square in Philadelphia. Halfway through the third period of play, they deemed this icing. Boy, Edom got a touch on that right at center red, but he's going to have to come back on the ice, and I think that's to the chagrin of the Ducks bench. Let's see how close this was.
Well, Emerson Edom is on his side of center when he does touch that puck. So the linesman, they got that one right.
Yeah, you and I are right on center ice, Brian. I disagree. But as we pointed out before,
they don't listen.
They just don't ask that. They never ask. I mean, we've got a great vantage point here. Just trying to help. Flyers get it deep as Talbot rims it around, and it ricochets behind the goal, reaching for it is Getzlaf, and he's in full stride as he circles the Anaheim goal. Contested as he gets to the red line, but got it to Perry, and his shot goes wide. Well, that was hard-working pass by Getzlaf as the Flyers weren't going to give him any room at center red, and he put it right on the tape for Corey Perry. Allen reaches for it back in his own zone. Up the middle off a Flyer stick. He clears the zone, and Philadelphia forced to get onside. These teams will play one more time this season at Honda Center on January 30th. Nice pass out of the zone by Bonino, and Palmieri chips it around Braden Colbert. Gets inside on Couturier. Bonino gets hit from behind as he gets to the puck. Up the wall, Beauchemin will be able to hold the zone. Passes it over the open man Lindholm. His wrist shot tipped on the way. Mason makes the save through traffic. Off of Lindholm and will come out center. And Francois Beauchemin, heady play there. He just hammered it back in as the puck was barely outside the line, and he had pressure.
Well, Ducks still looking for a goal from their defense, and they come close moments ago.
Nice play by Lindholm, who just takes the body on Couturier. Can't clear past the point. Schenn gets it over to Streit. And that puck never trickled all the way to Hiller, but it comes back to Streit. Over for Luke Schenn, and his wrist shot is deflected by Smith-Pelly. Out of play. 8:23 to go in Philadelphia. Anybody's game at Wells Fargo Center. Well, you knew we wouldn't let you down. We promised earlier in the game. It's Miller time. It's brought to you by Miller Lite.
And the moment of the game so far for the Ducks, certainly Kyle Palmieri's takeaway, and then a perfect conversion on the breakaway against the goaltender Mason.
A pure goal scorer, Kyle Palmieri, everywhere he has gone. 10 goals last season in 41 games for the Ducks. A little bit of a slow start, but starting to heat up, and that's good news. The Ducks suffering through some injuries up front, including losing Teemu Selanne in the third period of this one here tonight. And we got to think the opportunities are going to get ramped up for Kyle Palmieri moving forward. Second goal of the year, and that has drawn the Ducks even from what was once a 2-goal deficit. 8 minutes to go as Perry brings it in. Big rebound from Maroon. He gets another bid as Mason never does cover it. I think it's under Grossman, and finally the whistle, and now it's under everybody in the Philadelphia goal crease.
And Maroon got a couple of cracks.
Perry's at the bottom, and he's surrounded by orange sweaters.
The puck was lying in the crease. I don't think it was covered by the goaltender. Couturier was down there, and Talbot waits for the linesman to get in the middle before he takes a shot at Corey Perry. And the linesman and the referee go talk to Corey Perry.
And Talbot looks like maybe his visor may have cut his nose there a little bit. A little blood on the bridge of his nose.
I think that's a remnant from a fall into the boards last week. Here's the puck. Couturier goes down, and no one knows where it is. There's the puck. Does Mason cover it? Or does Couturier just kind of lay down on top of it?
Yeah, there was Wayne Simmons in the mix again on top of Corey Perry at the end of the play.
There was a battling save on the rebound, boy. If Patrick Maroon had been able to elevate that puck, Couturier,
who Simmons gave Perry a pretty good little cross-check to the back of the net there. No penalties out of the fray, and they'll face it off to the left of Mason. All of a sudden, he's made 32 saves. This one skips wide of him on the glove side off the backhand from Smith-Pelly. 34-25 shots in favor of the Ducks. Beauchemin holds it in at the line. No, he did not. So the delayed offside is waved as Hartnell gallops to center. His pass too hot to handle for Voracek, and now Philadelphia is offside. As the puck comes across the line, Hartnell can play it again. Maroon swats it, or excuse me, Perreault swats it ahead, and the Ducks try to finish a change. Streit moves it into the middle of the ice. Raffle chases down low in his skates. Up the wall it comes, and Smith-Pelly can't clear. Giroux tries to hand it off to Raffle, and it's cleared out center. Nice little play to get it to Cogliano by Bonino, and he fires it wide.
Boy, he's got speed, doesn't he? Just that breakaway speed for Cogliano.
Big hit by Raffle on Lovejoy in the neutral zone. The young man who spent 6 years playing professionally in Austria is starting to get into that flyer style of hockey. He's got a flyer body for sure.
And he does. Big kid.
Yeah.
Skates well.
Down to 6.5 to play in Philadelphia as the Flyers get it deep. No icing, so Hiller handles it off the end wall. Fowler watched from the other side of the net by Matt Reed. Moves it up the left side. Maroon quickly into the middle of the ice. Then tries to follow up as Palmieri didn't get it deep. And look at him battle for that puck. He's all over Couturier. Great puck pounding skills as Getzlaf steals it. Perry into the middle on the backhand. Stopped by Mason.
Good job again by Corey Perry to just outweight the defender, cut back against the grain. Just kind of shovels the shot, however, and Mason swallows it up. Good forecheck. Gets off. Watch this play at the blue line. The strip away from Simmons. He gets hacked a couple of times. Still gets it to Corey Perry. It's a good stop by Mason.
That's a former London Knight stopping another former London Knight there. A lot of them in the league. What a junior program they got going there. You can see the Ducks have played most of the period in the Flyers zone. They've gotten the equalizer early here in the third. They're looking for the go-ahead goal. They have never led in this one. 5:50 to play at Wells Fargo Center. Coburn fires it in wide of the goal. That should be icing, and it is, as Vatanen had a half a stride on Simmons. No fans don't miss Travis Rogers as he anchors the only live and local morning show in Orange County, weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on AM 830, the radio home of the Ducks. For details, visit am830.net. That's the interweb at work again. I understand there's some pretty good stuff on that thing.
We spent a lot of time there. Very big offensive zone chance for the Ducks. Tired Flyer group on the ice.
You know me, I'm a face page guy. Spend all day on that thing. Icing the call again on Philadelphia. So you got a Flyer group that's been out there for a while. A couple of icing calls.
I was going to say, I was just proud of you when you got your first smartphone. That was impressive to me.
Big moment in my life. Almost as big as when I got a microwave. Of course, I got them both on the same day. Perreault with a big face-off win. Rick spins it down low, and Edom has it knocked off his stick by Coburn. Activating from the point is Lindholm all the way below the goal line. Coburn turns the other way and finds Matt Reed. Into the middle of the ice, swatted right back. And the Ducks are on the attack. They have been the whole third period. Edom crashing into Grossman. And off the glass, knocked down by Beauchemin, and he's pressured at the line by Reed. Across the line, here comes Voracek. Fakes the shot. Lindholm pokes it off the stick and forces him to the corner. Winnick drops down to help out and gets it off Edom's stick out center ice. Ducks want to change team and then rifles it right back in. Lindholm been trapped out there a little bit. He gets hit by Shen on the play, but good work on the near wall as Palmieri lifts it out of harm's way.
All those little plays now, the so-called automatics, chipping pucks out, using the glass.
Cogliano gets it deep. Streit reverses, and Hartnell pitches it to the line. Nice play by Vatanen twice to keep it in. Now he's got it to Bonino in the corner. Nick reverses, tries to get it back to Vatanen. That was tipped, and a good play by Sammy. He moved into the middle to not only block it, but then keep the puck alive across the line. Here's Bonino with Palmieri. Tipped in, great pass by Bonino. Second of the game for Palmieri. And the Ducks have the lead with just over 4 to play.
You know what? This was just speed on the counterattack.
But what a play by Vatanen.
Unbelievable play. It looked for a minute like Lecavalier was going to be gone away to the races. Vatanen, look at the way he shields the puck away, and then he accepts the hit, and the Flyers attack at the wrong time. Man, oh man. They step up at the blue line, and no reason to do that. And Mark Streit, I mean, he cannot step up in that situation. It's a 2-on-1 converted beautifully by Anaheim. Great pass from Bonino to Kyle Palmieri. And you said it, John, he just scores. He just scores goals, that kid.
Now the Ducks trying to get the cycle game going down low. Second of the game, third of the year for Palmieri. Bonino and Vatanen will get the big helpers. Here's Perry as it squirts all the way out to the top of the circle, and his shot was partially blocked. Maroon trying to play below the goal line. Getzlaf again for Perry. Pulls the trigger and rattles the high glass.
Just all Ducks. I mean, they are just owning the puck down low.
Lovejoy keeps it deep. So does Getzlaf. Maroon pinned to the boards by Grossman. And the captain gets to it again. Boy, they're just winning puck battles all over the ice. Perry steps in front, tries to stuff it in off the stick of Mason. Picked up by Maroon, who steps out and fired it right through the crease. Fowler will hold the zone. The faithful begin to boo in Philadelphia. Perry won't let anybody else have the puck as Coburn continues to battle him behind the net. Ducks are changing while in the offensive zone. Perreault finds a little open space. Knocked down in front was Perry, so he gives it to Lovejoy at the point. Right back to Perreault, tries to play it down low, and Giroux intercepts, lobs it to center as the Ducks change. Fowler knocks it down and hammers it back in. They just called the Ducks for too many men on the ice.
Me? Wow.
Just 2:55 to go in the game. Fowler knocked down that puck as it was lobbed out center ice. And the Ducks are called for too many men on the ice. Jean Hebert has made all the calls in this game, but he just made one to put the Ducks shorthanded. Palmieri just gave him the lead.
Well, it's a too many men on the ice penalty that has been levied against the Ducks. The penalty will be served by Kyle Palmieri. The Flyers flip it out of the zone. The Ducks changing, and you can see standing adjacent to the bench at the moment that that puck is touched. In the eyes of the referee, he's not in the bench, so he makes the call.
Well, Brian, on Sunday, the Ducks killed the last minute and a half of regulation while shorthanded. In fact, it was a 6-on-4 because the Blue Jackets pulled their goaltender. They need another late kill tonight, leading 3-2 in Philadelphia.
You know, the Flyer goal, power play goal tonight was scored when Giroux was able to pass the puck through the penalty-killing box. And you want to believe that the Ducks will be very aware of that play when Giroux gets it on his stick. Remember, he was looking the opposite direction when he found Lecavalier.
Flyers are 1 for 2 with the extra man tonight. 2:40 to go in the game as Streit lays it back. Coming with speed is Giroux. He gets it across the line. And now they're set up. The umbrella out high as Streit gives it to Giroux. Simmons parks in front. Voracek comes over. Streit winds and fires just wide. It'll come around the boards and out. And the Ducks will get a quick change. Giroux backhands it in. Voracek strides after it. Perry beat him to it. Around to Brian Allen. Just chipped it up the wall. Getzlaf into the middle of the ice. And Beauchemin makes sure. 2:05 to go in the game. 1:10 to go in the power play. Perry gets to the puck first. Great work by Corey Perry. Draped by Flyer defenders. He stick handles his way to the back of the net. Still has it. And they still boo in Philadelphia. Voracek hits him. He continues to pursue the puck. And finally, he'll go to the bench for a change. But look at the time whittled away. He took 15 seconds at least by himself off of the penalty clock.
Great effort by Perry.
Schenn angles it off the boards, goes after it, but Lovejoy comes over to knife it away. Couturier and Hartnell in the corner for the Flyers. Dig it loose, comes to the high slot. Reed thinks better of the shot, gives it up. Timonen takes the shot, and it sticks to Hiller like glue just as Mason gets to the Philadelphia bench. Flyers want to go with the extra attacker, but everybody's got to be careful here. Flyers want to stay on the power play and go 6-on-4 for the remaining 34 seconds of penalty time.
Well, Jonas Hiller was able to get a real good look at this point shot. Hartnell is trying to get to the front of the net. Fowler did a good job of tying up the stick of Hartnell. And we got a timeout being called here by the Flyers.
Flyers are going to circle the wagons now that they've got Mason on the bench. 34
seconds remaining. You see Brad Lauer talking to his charges about what to expect if the Flyers get full control in the offensive zone. So far, the Ducks have done a great job of not allowing them significant time to get set up.
A minute 29 to go in the game. So Craig Berube taking a chance here. Why not? Going to go 6-on-4 with his net empty.
And John, the Ducks won the last face-off in the defensive zone while shorthanded and were able to get the easy clear. With no goaltender, it's a freebie shot at the open net.
But you know the message is only shoot at it if you've got an angle. The clear is just as important. LeCavalier, a center by nature, has been moved to the wing here in Philadelphia, will step in to take the draw on the right side. Against Bonino, the two continue to fence for it to the corner. Voracek gets there. Chips it along the wall. Simmons turns with it on the near side. Winnick and Fowler are there. Fowler out of the corner. Just keeps it on the wall. Winnick trying to battle it away from Simmons, who falls. He falls on Winnick's stick. Dug out by Giroux. Knocked out of midair by Beauchemin, who again is careful to keep it on the wall. Simmons gets it back. Giroux serves it over. One-time blast missed everything. Under a minute to go. And the penalty about to end. Palmieri will come out of the box. Raffles serves it over off the end boards. It came in front to Hartnell. Battled away. Schenn gets it back now. Strike. Out of the box is Palmieri at 6-on-5. He gives it to Giroux. His little centering pass taken behind the net. Smart play by Fowler, who uses the boards to clear.
Ducks get fresh legs out there. 35 seconds left. And the Flyers have to change too, John.
Giroux spins it around. Brian Allen moves it ahead. And chipping it out of the zone as Perry's got a man flying. It's Cogliano. He can't get it to him. Intercepted by Streit, who turns back into the Anaheim zone. 20 seconds left. Giroux pulls up. His shot deflected out of play by Beauchemin. 18.8 remains.
John, a couple of big stops by Jonas Hiller. Right here, the one-timer stop. The rebound comes out. It's shoveled towards the net. And that was Voracek, who has been one of the better Flyer players that was shut down on the short side by Jonas Hiller. He shows patience, and he's under control. And Bruce Boudreau saying, drop the puck. What are you waiting for?
They're saying they already used their timeout. Take the 6 and let's go. It'll be Couturier to take the draw against Getzlaf to the right of Hiller. 18.8 seconds left. Ducks lead 3-2. And Lovejoy taps it down low. Allen bounces it around. Bonino gets a piece of it out center ice. Couturier sends it back in, and it's a delayed offside that is now whistled against the Flyers with 9.3 left. They may revisit the clock. We'll wait and see.
And Brian Allen saying, you can't call a hooking penalty now on Philadelphia here late in the game?
Yeah, afraid not, Brian. Well, they leave the clock where it is. 9.3 seconds left, and with the draw outside the blue line of Getzlaf, he tried to go forward with it. Instead, it's driven in. Hiller pokes it to the corner. Lovejoy uses the glass to clear, and that should do it unless they call icing here. And they do, but the clock has expired. The Ducks down 2-0 after one. Whittle away in the second, and Kyle Palmieri gets 2 in the third, and they win in Philadelphia 3-2.
They dominate the third period tonight. I mean, the Flyers barely touched the puck. The Ducks, who had been outworked in the first period tonight, completely turned things around in the second period. And it's got to be a huge concern here in Philadelphia, John, that their history in third periods this season, they've been outplayed by a mile, and they were in this game again tonight. Palmieri, the star of this one, with a pair of third period goals. to steal another 2 points for Anaheim. But what a third period this one was.
3 straight wins for the Ducks, who are now 3-2 on the 8-game road odyssey because they win in Philadelphia tonight by a count of 3-2. Not so hot in the first, but they push back and win in Philadelphia. Stay tuned. Ducks Live is next.